You're all set.
Good afternoon and welcome to the MUZEO's online Lunch and Learn. I am Carol Latham, the Community Outreach Coordinator for the MUZEO, Museum and Cultural Center in Anaheim. And it is our wish that you, your family and circle of concern are all safe, healthy, and that you stay that way. The MUZEO is a cultural and community hub with the mission to engage the community in exploring and celebrating our diverse heritage, culture, and arts. And we do this in a myriad of ways, creatively through educational programming like this one, events, and exhibits. We certainly appreciate you taking your time this afternoon to join us. Be sure to add your questions and comments in the chat, either privately or to everyone, and we will do our very best to make sure that they're answered before the presentation ends. This program is being recorded on Facebook Live. Altrusa is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to enhance the quality of life of the community and the members through service. Today, we are fortunate to have 5 members of this club to share some insight into the role of Altrusa within the Anaheim community and surrounding communities as well as globally. First, Leslie Johnson. She became an Altrusan in 2007. She has a PhD in information technology and worked for 35 years with Boeing. Now retired, community service and giving back has become her full-time job. Her favorite projects with Altrusa are the Hoya Scholars and the Hub of Hope, and you'll learn more about that as we go on. She serves as the president of our club, the vice president of the foundation, and she is the District 11 treasurer and is on the board of directors for Altrusa International Foundation. Charlene Bowden is the chairman of the Literacy Committee for the club, and she's been a member since 2016. Now retired, Charlene enjoyed 43 years as an educator with Bellflower Unified School District. Altrusa allows her to support local literacy projects through programs like the NEA Big Read and the Creative Writing Project. Carol Latham, a member since 1994, has served the club as president, the district governor, and being on the international committees on 2 separate occasions. She is the president of the Anaheim Foundation, and recently in 2019 was awarded the very prestigious Eleanor Roosevelt Humanitarian Award. Pam Cray attended Catella Elementary School, Ball Junior High, Loire High School, and also attained her BA at Cal State Fullerton. And that started a 41-year career in education, all of which happened in Anaheim. She taught for 29 years in the Anaheim Elementary School District. And after attaining her MA, she spent 13 years as the administrator in the Anaheim Union High School District. And then her circle came full circle when she became the principal at Loara High School. Pam has been involved in many boards, including the Anaheim Police Chiefs Advisory Board, Cops for Kids, and she volunteers regularly at CHOC. One of the attributes that I'd like to mention about Pam is that she is a former Teacher of the Year and a KNBC Crystal Apple recipient. So I thank you ladies for joining us. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the first Vice President of the Anaheim Club, Denise Gilb, who has followed in her mother's footsteps by becoming an Altrusan in 1990. She was elected to the District 11 Board of Directors and proudly worked through the levels to become district governor for the 2013 to 2015 biennium. For the 2015 to 2017 biennium, she served on the International Board of Directors as an international director. Denise worked diligently on the Altrusa International Centennial Committee and also co-chaired the 2019 International Convention in Reno, Nevada. She currently sits on the foundation of the club as a director. Lots to share today with Altrusans of Anaheim. And so take it away, Denise.
Thank you, Carol. Let me see if I can get this up to share my screen. And we shall go, I think. Okay, so it's 1917. This is not letting me move my screen though. Oh, I don't know why. It won't let me change my, oh, there it goes, okay. It's 1917. The United States officially entered World War I. Men from across the nation were enlisting left and right. Large numbers of women were being recruited into the jobs vacated by these men, and the need for women's civic organizations grew. The impetus for the women's club movement originated in female benevolent and church societies, maternal associations, and in sewing and reading circles during the 1890s to the 1920s. Through their charitable outreach, these groups learned organizational and fundraising skills, as well as engaged in discussion of moral and social reform, such as fallen women, indigent children, and common schools. A young red-bearded Kiwanian named Dr. Alfred Durham had an idea to sponsor a national chain of clubs for business and professional women and to call it the Altrusa Institute. His original idea was to have forums to study various phases of business and professional life. The altruism was expressed in helping younger business women. The women paid dues to the organization, and Dr. Durham would collect the initiation fees. He began organizing his clubs in Nashville, Louisville, and Dayton, Ohio. And when he moved on to start a new club in Indianapolis, he met Mamie L. Bass, and that fortuitous meeting changed the course of Altrusa. The National Association of Altrusa Clubs, originally founded as the Altrusa Institute, was incorporated under the laws of Indiana on August 22nd or 21st, 1917, and was the first national organization of business and professional women. The first convention was held in Indianapolis in May of 1918, with 40 members present representing 5 clubs. At this time, Durham accepted the contract, relinquishing all rights as an organizer. Now, Mamie L. Bass had served as the superintendent of the Women's Division of the United States Employment Services and was a partner in her brother's architectural firm. Mamie was captivated by the possibilities just then afforded women by emerging career opportunities, and even more by the great potential she saw for women in the future. While she admired Dr. Durham's institute, Bass felt that Altrusa could serve a higher purpose. At that first convention, Mamie L. Bass's vision became reality. The Altrusa Institute became a classified service organization for women. Women did not receive the right to vote until 1920, so this was pretty much a big thing. Now, the name Altrusa was a combination of altruism and the USA, possibly because of the high-running World War I patriotism. Mamie was enchanted with the name for its devotion to the interests of others concept. She infused Altrusa with her inspiring philosophy of service and personal achievement in her writings, The Principles of Altrusa and Aspirations of an Altrusan. Over the next few years, Altrusa grew to over 1,000 members and 40 clubs in 20 states. National stated criterion for each Altrusa club was to find and alleviate people's needs not served by any other group, and to do it in a creative way. In responding to this directive, Altrusans found themselves caught up with enthusiasm for whatever the endeavor, large or small. In 1935, with the membership of over 3,000 and 105 plus clubs, Altrusa's international dream was achieved with the extension into Mexico. During the 1940s, Altrusa expanded to other countries in the Western Hemisphere, mainly Puerto Rico and Canada. On July 25th, 1946, the first Altrusa representative to the United Nations was appointed. And with the expansion into Seoul, Korea, and London, England in the late 40s, Altrusa's emblem was expanded to show the world. The 1960s was a decade of extremes with flower childrens and assassins, idealism, rebellion, and riots. Kind of sounds like today. Attuned to the rapidly changing environment, Altrusa clubs swiftly shifted service gears for space exploration, communication satellites, and the nuclear 1960s. Its international service world extended to Asia, Europe, and Oceania, as clubs were organized in India, the Philippines, Ireland, Scotland, Australia, and New Zealand. In 1962, to better administer its international funding projects, Altrusa International Inc. created the Altrusa International Foundation Inc. This 501c3 not-for-profit arm of our organization, which receives and administers funds donated by Altrusans and interested members of the general public for the support of projects, as well as awards granted and help with disaster relief. Astra clubs were introduced in 1966, a new Altrusa service project to help school-aged girls become active, involved, fulfilled members of society. Astra is an acronym for Ability, Service, Training, Responsibility, and Achievement. The 1970s brought a search for a new major international emphasis. As other organizations were known for their work with the deaf, the blind, and the disabled, clubs wanted Altrusa to be identified with a cause. In 1977, Action for Literacy was introduced at the 35th convention in Brighton, England. And Altrusa knew it had found its ongoing crusade, which remains today. Now, a significant change in Altrusa came in July of 1987 at the International Convention in Palm Desert, California, when the delegate body amended the bylaws to admit men into membership. In the mid-1980s, the major men's organizations were changing their bylaws, inviting women to join their ranks. And by the close of the decade, the service club movement had eliminated membership requirements based on gender. And what of the future? With over 300 clubs and 8,000 members, Altrusa and Altrusans will be busy at new tasks in the interest of the better world. The Altrusa of the future will continue to attract to its ranks the leaders and the doers, those who seek more than material success, those who know that by united effort, they can make a greater contribution to humanity. The Altrusa of the future will be carried through good times and bad by the vision of its leadership, by the strength of its programs, and the aims and the ideals for which it stands. It will grow because women and men will build upon the original groundwork and efforts, even surpassing the work of the organization's founders. It will grow because it is a sincere expression of the ideals and aspirations of people, and because it fulfills their need for service. Now, Altrusa of Anaheim was founded 79 years ago by a group of women from the Anaheim area. 6 years later, the club officially chartered in 1947. So that means we were here before Disneyland. The club's aim was to help women who were emerging into the workforce like never before. From that start, our members have held pancake breakfasts, afternoon teas, fashion shows, and many more fundraisers to support our projects, which you'll hear about in a little bit. Well, we have also partnered with other nonprofits and organizations like Rotary, Eville, and the Anaheim Arts Council to further impact making our communities a better place. Now, our scope has changed through the years, and we have adjusted, adapted, and fine-tuned and tweaked our projects to be the most beneficial to all. Our president, Leslie Johnson, will now share some of the current projects. Leslie?
Thank you, Denise, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Altrusa International of Anaheim supports the city of Anaheim's 3 yearly festivals: the Fall Festival, the Nutcracker and Tree Lighting Festival, and the Children's Festival. We set up a booth for each festival, provide a craft for the children visiting our booth, and each visiting child receives a storybook. It gives us an opportunity to meet and greet the members of our community and tell them about our club and service projects. Our service projects extend outside of Anaheim into North Orange County, as around half of our members are not Anaheim residents. With COVID-19, one of our newest projects was making masks. One of our members was reached out to by the UCLA Medical Center with the need for masks. They sent a pattern and material, and our volunteers worked several weeks to make these masks. They cut the patterns and the material and did the sewing. They made and delivered hundreds of masks to the medical center and to the Women with a Purpose, which is an international project of used women in Tijuana, Mexico. Hoya Scholars are dedicated to breaking the cycle of poverty, one student at a time. And let me give a shout out to Christian Esteban, the executive director of the Hoya Scholars, who's joined us today. Education is the key. The original setup was in the Garnet neighborhood of Fullerton, which is a small 5-block area with 1,200 low-income children, and they're children of working-class immigrants. The neighborhood is in the middle of one of the wealthiest counties in the country. They had no recorded college graduations in over a decade. In 2014, Valerie Socha became the first college graduate completing a bachelor degree in political science from Chapman University, and she did it in just 3 years. By supporting students through one-on-one mentoring, academic tutoring, educational workshops, parent academy, campus visits, SAT prep, these scholars are enabled to succeed in high school and prepare them for college. The students sign an agreement to attend the sessions that we began in junior high and take them through high school. They fill a relationship and knowledgeable gap for the students and their family when it comes time to navigate the confusing and intimidating process to get into college. Hoya Scholars expanded 2 years ago and opened up a second classroom in the Maple District of Fullerton. They had their first 2 high school graduates this past May. We partner with Hoya by volunteering as tutors, mentors, providing cultural activities and food trips for food, along with SAT and ACT prep material, which may no longer be needed anymore. Can also participate in their panel of experts where we talk about our field of work and work with the parents in their parenting class. Due to the COVID, Hoya Scholars is working on getting online mentoring and tutoring into place. They worked hard collecting donations of food, blankets, monies for rent, and other items needed for the scholars' family during these difficult times. The school district requires community service volunteer hours, and Altrusa assists them of getting this required hours by helping them set up the volunteer. And they're always looking for tutors for math, English, history, and various other subjects. A second special service project to me is Pathways of Hope, which mission is to provide access to food, shelter, and housing to those experiencing hunger and homelessness in North Orange County. They operate shelters, offer rapid rehousing services, permanent supportive housing, homeless prevention service, and housing service for the chronologically homeless individuals and medical fragile individuals. Altrusa offers support with grant writing, donations for the family, cleaning and prepping vacated apartments, and stuffing envelopes several days a month with donation requests. Pathways of Hope also maintains a food distribution center called the Hub of Hope. They understand the impact of being hungry has on a household's stability and a child's development. They are committed to eliminating hunger for all the people in Orange County. All Orange County and other residents, if they want to come this far, are welcome to come and receive food. This past year, they expanded and opened up additional hubs at Fullerton College, Cerrito College, and the North Orange County ROP Center, as they were finding that student hunger was becoming a serious problem. Altrusans assist by picking up food, sorting donations, bagging donations, handing out bags of food, and stocking the bookshelves with books and magazines for the customer. Due to the COVID, they had adjusted from allowing clients to hand select their food to handing out bags of food, hygiene bags, cleaning supplies, masks and gloves, and other needed items. We wrote 2 grants and received them from Altrusa International Foundation. The first was a disaster relief fund, which was a quick grant we got right at the beginning of the lockdown because the need of families needing food greatly increased. And then we were able to acquire a second grant, which was supposed to be for improvements, but we were able to update it to allow them to purchase the food as they needed. A third service project we have is Boys Hope, Girls Hope homes in Fullerton and Santa Ana. And they are academically motivated middle and high school students who rise above disadvantaged backgrounds and become successful in college. The goal is to graduate young people who are physically, emotionally, and academically prepared for post-secondary education and productive life, breaking the cycle of poverty. These students are different from the Hoya, whereas Hoya goes into the neighborhood. These students come and live in the houses. Altrusa partners with them by teaching them life skills, food prep and cooking, hosting book clubs, and arranging local food trips. We also donate food and cleaning supplies as well as school supplies. When COVID hit, we set up several different books and we were having book clubs with them, reading and talking about them. And this additional reading these, if they have a reading list, and if we pick books off the reading list, it helps them to earn college scholarship money. Finally, the Orange County Ronald McDonald Family Room at the Children's Hospital of Orange County, or CHOC. The family room provides comforting home away from home for the families of seriously ill children being treated at CHOC. We sponsor and work in the family rooms. They have volunteers and you work 4-hour shifts. We serve dinner 1 night a month. We purchase the dinners from local restaurants, transport them to CHOC to the 6th floor, and set them up for the parents. Other opportunities besides serving dinners and volunteering at the room are volunteering at the actual Ronald McDonald House, or making donations such as books, toys, hygiene supplies, etc. We welcome any new members to assist us in our quest for a better community. If you have a project near and dear to your heart, please join us at a meeting and bring your ideas. Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Now, literacy, as I mentioned before, has become a focus of Altrusa International. Charlene Bowden, our recording secretary for the club, will share some of our literacy programs. Charlene?
Thank you, Denise. One of our major projects is to work with Anaheim Public Library and support them on the NEA Big Read each year. We've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years, and some of the books that we've read have been Maltese Falcon, Into the Beautiful North, and Our Town. We partner with the Anaheim Public Library Foundation. There isn't a picture for this. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, sorry. The Anaheim Public Library Foundation, Library Friends, Kiwanis, and of course the Public Library to provide activities citywide that involve residents in reading the book and interacting with the book and sharing their ideas about the book. Another one that we do is the Creative Writing Project. I think we've got a slide for that one. We've been doing this with Anaheim Elementary School District for about 5 or 6 years, and we started sponsoring it ourselves and working with one school. And we expanded it to 2 more schools a few years ago to show the district that it could be replicable in all of their schools. And this past year, the district itself has taken over the administering of the project. And with the support of the public library and Altrusa, we have 4th graders in all 23 schools participate. And the winners are celebrated at the local board meeting and at the city council meeting, as well as, of course, at their own sites. This year, because of COVID and the classes being virtual, the project will also be virtual. So the students will still be able to participate, just virtually. Okay, the next slide is the children's festivals. Leslie's touched on this, that we have 3 festivals in Anaheim each year. The Children's Art Festival is generally in the spring, the Fall Festival, and then the Nutcracker Tree Lighting Festival. And Altrusa sets up a booth to educate the people about what Altrusa is, and then encourage children to come over, and we support literacy by giving each child that visits a free book. And we also support the Boys and Girls Club of Anaheim with literacy and art materials. And looks like we read to them too. We also support literacy through scholarships, traditional scholarships through ROP, where we give scholarships for students who are looking to go into nursing and education, but also non-traditional scholarships through St. Catherine's, where we supply supplies, books and textbooks for a student. Hoya, which was mentioned earlier, and we supply the materials for the parenting classes and for the SAT prep. Also St. Teresa's, which is a home for mothers and babies, and those mothers are working on getting college degrees, and so we supply money for them to buy their looked at the wrong part, their books. And YWCA is one of our newer ones, with helping local women and others get jobs in the area. And okay, and giving them the materials they need to get the training they need for the jobs in the area. And we also have international projects that we work on. And that is going to be Pam Cray, who's going to be telling you about those.
Okay.
Actually, it's going to be Carol Latham.
Oh, okay.
But Carol, as many of you know, she wears many hats in the city of Anaheim. Besides being our host for this event and working with the MUZEO, she is also president of Altrusa of Anaheim Foundation. She's held many offices, most of them I would say, within our club, has led our district as governor, and sat on the international board as director. So Carol is going to tell us more about our projects that cross borders. Carol?
Thank you, Denise. Our international projects fall into 2 categories: philanthropy as well as hands-on. And let me talk a little bit about the ones that we support financially first. One of them is our sister club in Madras, India. We were finding that we had quite a little bit of trouble sometimes being able to provide funding to our club sisters in Madras. And so a few years ago, through the international office, we determined that the best way we could help them was to have funds here in the US that allowed them to pay their dues and have some extra money here for when they came to international conventions. Second project is the Jewish World Watch. And we started off this project when we realized that there was a need in the Sudan for women living in the compounds, the refugee compounds, needing firewood. And they would need to leave the safety of the compound to go and collect firewood. And the further and further they went away from the compound, the more danger they were in for assault and kidnappings. So there was a project called the Solar Cooker Project. And we started out helping them provide these solar cookers to the women so that they could not only prepare their meals within the compound, but it also freed them up with time to be able to go out and work without having to be concerned about, walking 3 hours to find firewood to prepare a meal. Since then, we've expanded that into assisting with Holocaust survivors, as well as the children who are part of some of their programs, giving them school supplies as well as personal care items. The Heifer Project allowed us to help communities with not only seeds so that they could plant and have cultivation, but also animals. We are able to provide some of these communities with everything from chickens to ducks to pigs, goats, and even cows, as well as fresh, clean water. Then we added the Plan USA, Plan International. And this was a project that was particularly dear to me because it allowed us to work with, in particular, young girls. And they have a program that's called Because I'm a Girl. And we were able to provide food for them to go to school on a daily basis. Also for them to attend schools, to have uniforms and books, but also even personal care items. And that kind of led us into a real affinity to another program that was started by Altrusa International called Days for Girls. And Days for Girls, we support both philanthropically as well as hands-on. But we are able to provide young girls and women with the personal care items in a kit that they need while they're experiencing their menstrual cycle. Many times, young girls and women were unable to attend school during their periods, and if they were working, they couldn't go to work. It made them very vulnerable in a number of ways. Well, this program allows them to have a kit that has basic supplies that makes it very hygienic for them as well as safe. And one of the beautiful things about this project that's happened is that it has expanded to not only helping the women, but also helping the boys and the men to have a better understanding of their own biology and how to better treat the women in their lives. So that's been a great project. The advantage of that, it's not just in places like Africa. It has helped women when in the United States, in some of the poorer areas where they have been hurt by hurricanes and various disasters, and they don't have access to the supplies that they need while they're having their periods. On a hands-on basis, we are able to provide some of the items that go into the kit, whether it's fabric, whether it's soap, wash rags, and a variety of other personal care things that go into the making of this kit. So we are able to provide not only the finances, but also some of the hands-on, whether it's making the kits or providing the items that go into the kit. The Women with Purpose project, we were looking for a project that really gave us full-on hands-on that could involve most of our club, and we could see a tangible difference in what our efforts were doing. And so we partnered with an organization that was local, Women with Purpose, and they were supporting an orphanage in Tijuana, Mexico. And it started out that we provided, books and basic things that the children would need. But then it expanded into being able to help the women who were coming out of sort of abusive situations and having to leave their home and security. And so with Women of Purpose, we are able to collect personal care items as well as books and other household types of things so that they're able to start improving their lives. And in the photo you can see here, we just did this shipment of 35 tote bags filled with personal care items, as well as blankets and sheets and other things that the women would need. But we didn't want to leave the children out, so we also had toys and books for the children as well. So this particular project, we were so fortunate to not only be part of this project, but it allowed us to win an award from Altrusa International for this project at this last virtual conference that we had. And in the photo, you will see the founder, I should have mentioned that, the founder, Celeste Mergen, who was the founder of Days for Girls, in the middle with the shoulder length blonde hair. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Fundraising, obviously, is a very important part of Altrusa of Anaheim, because where would we be and what could we accomplish without financial assistance? Pam Cray, one of Altrusa of Anaheim's directors on the board, is now going to share with us our fundraising efforts. Pam?
Thank you, Denise. I really appreciate this opportunity. Today, I'm actually pinch hitting for Rian Howard, who is our fundraising vice president. And with her expertise, her experience and leadership, excuse me, she works with Altrusa members and the community to provide new and innovative ways to raise money for the many facets of our Altrusa service. Altrusa provides service, goods, and volunteers for various service agencies and nonprofits throughout Anaheim and nearby communities. Our largest, our most fun, our signature fundraiser is our annual Festival of Trees. This year, due to the pandemic, we are unable to host and enjoy that event, and we certainly will miss that day of trees, opportunity prizes, silent auction items, wonderful food, and especially catching up with all of our friends throughout the community throughout that day. However, we will be back next year, bigger and better. Each year, we learn more, we brainstorm more, and we add to our event. Our substitute event for this year, listen carefully, will be Altrusa's Epic Pandemic 2020 event, using some of the features of our Festival of Trees. On November 14, 2020, we will have a live opportunity drawing for numerous prizes. Opportunity tickets will be sold, and of course, our iconic decorated Christmas trees. You can see some in the slide right now. And there's Rian. Hey, sorry she couldn't be here today. Our tickets will be sold personally through members or online. We will, as always, be offering online orders for our homemade jams and jellies, and all that information will be available on our website, www.altrusaanaheim.org, and I'll remind you of that in just a second. We'd like to thank everyone in advance for your participation and support as we navigate through these uncertain times. Interested in purchasing tickets? Just contact a member of Altrusa or visit us at our website. Another way we raise funds is to support our community is through our partnership with Ruby's Diner in Anaheim. They support us very graciously with donating 20% of the meal sales on certain days or weeks. We circulate flyers to our families and friends and ask them to enjoy a meal at Ruby's during the specified time as designated on the flyer. And that information is also on our website. We are always researching other restaurants that would like to offer their financial support. We're hoping to do one a month that would enable us to reach our financial and fundraising goals. We are currently and always looking for creative and innovative ways to raise money for our club. Service is what we are, and the money we raise is put right back into the community to support our projects, which do serve so many needs within the community. If you would like more information or have ideas on partnering with us to raise funds, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you. And even more importantly, we'd love to have you attend one of our monthly meetings. Our membership is open to all who love to serve, who have a heart for volunteering, and enjoy the fellowship of a group who share a true passion for serving and caring. A reminder to please support our November 14th event and get to know us. There's a lot about us. Again, our website is www.altrusaanaheim.org. We sincerely do look forward to visiting with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. That was great. And so, yes, you can figure out, Altrusa's main goal is to make our communities a better place for all. In working towards that goal, many other elements are uncovered. Altrusa boosts skills. Altrusa develops leaders. Altrusa emboldens our commitment to our community. Altrusa inspires unity. And Altrusa develops and nurtures leadership. And we have a lot of fun. This picture here was taken at the boat parade party, our Christmas holiday party. So we were down in Newport and watched the boat parade go all around. So we do find in all this work that we do find time to enjoy each other's company and just to have some fun. So we all have in us a different skill, a different style, a different talent. So why not share those talents with Altrusa? We'd love to invite you all to learn even more about Altrusa of Anaheim and perhaps consider joining us. To reiterate what Pam just told us, to check us out on our Facebook page, our website, www.altrusaanaheimcalifornia.org, via email to webmaster@altrusaanaheimca.org or first VP, write it out, at altrusaanaheimcalifornia.org, ca.org. That one's mine, and the other one goes to Leslie. I hope you can join us to make a difference in our community. And if you're watching this and you're not in the Orange County area, we do have Altrusa clubs all over the world. So just email me and I will connect you with your local club. So are there any questions?
I do. There are a few questions that I have. The first one is, Charlene mentioned about the creative writing project. Would you mention a little bit about the theme and the grade levels that this project is part of?
Yes, Carol. The theme, that the prompt is finding my voice, telling my story. And it's done at the very beginning of the school year because the teachers find that the kids let them know things about themselves that help the teachers as the year goes on. Currently, it's only in 4th grade, and the district is looking to expand it to other grade levels, but currently every 4th grader in Anaheim Elementary School District participates, writes the essay, and then certain ones are sent on for final judging.
It's a fun project. That's one of my favorite jobs, is to be the judge or to read these incredible essays that these kids write. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, the support that we've had with the Anaheim Public Library and the Anaheim Elementary School District has just been phenomenal, and how we've been able to grow this project has been really rewarding. I think from the very first year, one of the comments that still resonates with me is the teachers saying that it made them better teachers because they really understood the child that was sitting in their classroom on a much more elementary level, rather than, oh, that's John Blow, John Smith sitting in my class. All of a sudden they had a real view into that child's life through some of the stories. And some of the stories are very poignant. Some of them are funny. And we're not so concerned in the writing of this about them having perfect grammar. It's really about the creative aspect of it. So thank you, Charlene. You've mentioned several projects that we have. How are some of these projects selected? What's the process? Leslie, would you like to take that one?
Leslie, you're on mute.
Leslie, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, you want to hear me? Is that what
Yes, we do.
The projects are normally brought to our service committee or literacy committee, whichever, for consideration. They usually come from members, or maybe a member of the community will approach us. And for instance, with the Hoya Scholars, we had a member sitting on their advisory board. That's how we, made contact with them. So, and then it goes to the club, and the club decides if they want to support it. And so, yeah, like I said, through club members or community members.
Mm-hmm. So, if you are a non-Altrusan and you see that there are all these projects and there's one that speaks to you, is that something that as a non-member I can call up an Altrusan and say, hey, you're doing this project, can I help you with it, and not be a member?
Of course you can. We'll welcome any help we can. We will invite you to meetings and get together and try to entice you in, but that's what happens. And some of the projects we partner with are, self-sustaining, so they can just go and work with them. But hopefully, yeah, they'll come and do it with us because it's more fun. Like we have a Make a Difference Day in October, International Make a Difference Day. And usually we try and take over the hub that day and do all the sorting and handing out of food and everything. So it's fun to do it as a group. We have a good time.
Okay. Charlene mentioned some of the scholarships that we have, and some of these scholarships are specific to different career paths. Would you just speak a little bit more about some of them and how they're targeted?
Certainly. ROP has career pathways for students to follow to encourage them to start on their career pathway while they're still in high school. And so some of our scholarships are aligned with those career paths, for example, nursing. And so students apply for the scholarships, and then their applications are reviewed by Altrusa members, and then they are interviewed so that they can be assigned a scholarship up to usually between $500 and $1,000 to help them on to their first and second semester in the college continuation of their career path.
Okay.
Carol, can I cut in I just wanted to tell a quick story right here.
Yes.
It's amazing to me, and I've been in Altrusa for quite a few years, that we'll get these random letters on occasion. And it's usually from a woman, and it could have been back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, but some are more current, that say, thank you for your help. I received a scholarship or a grant from you. It helped me move on, and now I'm successful in my field. And they'll go on and they'll say, I've never forgotten you about Altrusa. So it's always nice to hear, but it really does make a difference that we are making that difference in the world and in people's lives.
You know, that's so true. I remember years ago, one of our scholarships is a scholarship for people who are going on to be teachers, and it's named for one of our charter members, Edith Holsinger. And at one of the children's festivals, we were doing an art project, and this woman came up with her two daughters. And at first she wanted to know how much it would cost to participate in this event. And so we said, no, it's free and they get a book. And so she was kind of taken aback by that, but she participated. And the very next year she came back again and she said, well, do you remember me? I brought my daughters, and you know, this is what your money that I was able to get for the scholarship enabled me to do. And every year after that, she would come back and tell us what had happened in that year, all starting from $1,000 that she had received, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And then she and her family moved away. But it's very heartwarming when you hear that your efforts have made such a tremendous change and difference in someone's life. So thank you. In fundraising, one of the things that we've done in order to fund our projects is that we have a foundation, so people are able to donate to the foundation, and we also write grants. So maybe Denise, you might want to talk a little bit about some of the grants that we've been able to have funded.
Well, through the International Foundation, we actually have 2 different grant cycles that each club can apply for, and depending on what they're asking for, you can get up to $4,000, I believe. Now they've upped the maximum amount, and we've been very lucky that we have received some of these grants. We have very worthwhile projects, as you've heard, but it's also just a matter of taking time and writing them.
Mm-hmm.
And writing them out. The money is there because with the foundation, Altrusans donate throughout the year. We do a lot of fundraising for them, for the International Foundation, through our convention or conferences, but it also through endowments and through different variations. And they did start they have a disaster relief fund also when we've had our fires in California here, our fires and our different disasters, earthquakes, that they will be right on top of things. As soon as we reply, they will send us money to help families, to help communities around. Also, they have made special grants for during COVID, which I think there was a picture earlier that you saw of Leslie and the hub director reaching across from each other, trying to stay socially distanced with their masks. And we were able to give them money right away. So the foundation has really, is really there to support all of Altrusa and Altrusans in a very generous, and they're everywhere. So it's a wonderful way to contribute. It also is a 501c3. So if you want to contribute to the International Foundation, it is tax deductible.
Yeah. As we've been talking to the label District 11 has come up a number of times. For our viewers that are watching and might be wondering, what is a District 11? Would you share a little knowledge on that?
Altrusa International right now is divided into 14 different districts. There is not a District 13. Bad luck, you know, that whole thing, like with the hotel rooms or hotel floors. But every district is grouped according to where they are. So our district is 11. We include California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, Baja California, both North and South Baja, and Sonora, Mexico. And each district, we work within our district, and the district works within the bigger frame. So District 14 is Puerto Rico. They have their own district, just their own. District 15 is New Zealand. And if you have a club like our India club that is not associated or is not near any other clubs, we call them clubs at large. So they are still all a part of Altrusa. They still get the same attention that Altrusa does, or that the rest of us do within our district. They just don't have other clubs fairly close to them. One of the things, as a district, you have your own board of directors. And I do believe that we do have our District 11 governor and governor-elect visiting us today, Bonnie and Pat. So hi, thank you for coming and joining us.
Okay, just one more quick question before we wrap it out. One of the things that has been important to the MUZEO is participating in the community and doing programs that bring the community not only onto our campus, but going out and being part of the larger picture. And over the years, there has been a really nice relationship between Altrusa and the MUZEO. I know we've had a number of meetings there. We've had a membership ice cream social in the Carnegie, which was really wonderful. And we certainly volunteer with the Children's Festival, which is one of the things that the MUZEO has undertaken. And we've supported that as well. So it's been really terrific to have that partnership. And when we participate with them, like at the festival, we always make sure that Altrusa provides an art project that brings it back into the arts and culture that the museum wants to help with the community as well. So I think we're just about out of time, but is there anyone on the panel that would like to just quickly say one of the reasons why they became an Altrusan?
I became an Altrusan because of my mother. She was an Altrusan for 25 years before I had joined, and volunteering and community service was always just a part of the family. So it was kind of like a no-brainer that I was going to join, and that was the way it was. And I've enjoyed it. I've stayed.
Well, you know, my sponsor was Liz Cason, and she just kind of took me under her wing and made sure I went to everything and participated. And she said, you know, you need this. So she was a great mentor. And I think that's one of the things that we do as Altrusans, is that we are mentors, and we're also, through this organization, have found ways of leadership that we never knew that we were capable of. So I think that that has been really wonderful for us, for me personally as well. Well,
I just want to cut in here, and I want to thank you and thank the MUZEO so much for giving us this opportunity to share what Altrusa of Anaheim does. It's wonderful working with the MUZEO and in the past, and I look forward to working more with them in the future. And we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving us this chance.
Thank you. And I just looking at, oh my gosh, one of our guests said, thank you. This was, oh, where did it go? Where did the chat go? Hang on, I need to see that chat. Thank you. This was very informative session. I'm represented NC&W Orange County, and she mentions that Liz Cason was a great leader. So true. So thank you so much, Melanie. So before we close, I want to remind you again, Denise had mentioned and it's up on your screen, the various ways that you can get in touch with the MUZEO, and we're also able to have their link on the MUZEO's link. Do let us know your thoughts on this program as we continue to bring relevant programs to the community, especially during these very uncertain times. To support the MUZEO, there is a donate button, and we appreciate your generosity as well. I'd like to say special thank you to Berkenda for her work behind the scenes, and without a doubt to Denise, Leslie, Charlene, and Pam for enlightening us and sharing the wonderful services being provided by Altrusa of Anaheim. I'm sure your audience appreciated. I see Bonnie waving, and we had a message from Jan from Altrusa of San Diego North Coastal, from Hoya. Thank you. So let us know how you've appreciated this program. Let me say personally, I'm a proud member of this club, and the work that we do does make a difference for so many others. Special thank you to you, our viewing audience, for tuning in this afternoon. On behalf of the MUZEO and Altrusa, stay well, stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.